Now, this week I had a meeting with Steve White, the new Chief Executive of GTR, the railway company which runs Southern and Thameslink and Gatwick, and I had three main things to ask him because there are big changes coming up. Now, you may have heard there's a big upgrade of Gatwick happening. It's going to double the capacity at Gatwick, so there's work going to be starting in May of this year, going on to 2023. So that's good news for the investment. It's going to increase the capacity, but it does mean that they are going to be bringing in alterations to the timetable and the way they run services from Brighton. Now, a new timetable which will come in the summer. The details of that apparently are going to be available from February the 26th. It means that trains will have to go slower through Gatwick whilst that work is going on, which means they've had to reconfigure some of the trains, and that means that all the trains running from Brighton to Victoria are going to be Gatwick Express trains. Now, that's fine, except Gatwick Express trains cost more than the Southern trains. Now, this is something we're taking up with the government. The GTR don't want that price differential to hit passengers, but because of the strange nature of the franchise, the ticket money goes to the Department for Transport. So we're going to sort out that one, hopefully before these new changes come in. Secondly, and the really good piece of news, is I've had lots of complaints about overcrowding on the West Coastway. That's trains coming on from Worthing, Shoreham, Lancing going up to London, that they have been only 4 coach trains. As from these new arrangements, we're going to have 8 coach trains on all those trains coming up from the West Coastway, which is good news. It means hopefully most people could then at last get a seat. And the third issue I asked about was on disability access. Now, with the improvements at Gatwick going to mean there are going to be more lifts and more arrangements for passengers with disabilities. I'm still concerned about the number of reports I get from constituents who are struggling to get off the trains because the ramps aren't there to meet them if they're in wheelchairs or whatever. And last year I did a sort of secret shopper and went up with somebody in a wheelchair to see exactly the experiences they're going through. So that's something we're taking forward. We need to make sure that all passengers with disabilities are just as able to travel as everybody else. So there's going to be some disruption, particularly between 2020 and 2022, but I'm assured that the new timetable will mean differences, but the service will be no different. Punctuality has been improving. It needed to, but I did say to them they need to communicate better. I go up to London every morning by train on a Monday morning, and the last few weeks in particular, the trains have been late, and the reports of where the train is or how long the delay is going to be has been hopeless. That's been because, I gather, of the wet weather, and they've had to go slow around Balkan and Wivelsall because of landslips. But we need to communicate that to passengers better. So they've just brought on some new social media people so that their information through Twitter and Facebook and everything else can improve as well. So I'll put details of the links to how you get all the information about this on my website, but just be prepared. There are going to be changes, but the changes are because there's going to be an upgrade to Gatwick, which will be good for the train system going up from the south coast to London, and goodness knows it still needs to improve.